Hi, guys. Welcome back to Bar Exam. I'm your host, Allie Raider, and I'm here with my amazing Bar Exam fellas. Today, we have Mr. Shane G, our producer, subbing in for Eric. Say what's up, Shane.
What's the deal, y'all? Happy to be back again. What's good?
Yes, happy to have you. And then we also have Mr. Marcus TV in the building, as always. What's up,
Yo,
Marcus?
what up? What up? What it do?
What's up, fellas? All right, so today, coming before the bar, we are actually going to be talking about rappers who we believe are most believable. So when I say that, I mean we're talking about people who are not just talking about it, but who are actually about that shit in real life, which can actually be kind of rare when it comes to rap. I think a lot of people end up playing a facade or end up, playing a role and then it might turn real. That sometimes happens as well. So we'll see what our picks actually ended up being. Does anybody want to start first? Anybody? Anybody?
I can start first.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
go ahead.
start first. Um, for me, the guy that I picked, this is a joke that we used to have in like middle school and in like high school. We used to talk about this guy. We would just ask like me and my homies would ask each other like, what do you think Beanie Siegel is doing right now? And one of us would be like, oh, he just got done pitching an 8 ball, like right now. Like, sign to Rockefeller. It don't matter. He's in the hood right now. Like, that was how we looked at Beanie Siegel. So Beans is my pick. And the I don't know, he just had like an aura about himself that it seemed like, he was very sincere in his delivery. Like, just I think he had a powerful delivery and he was very vivid in his lyricism. Like, he painted pictures in a way that it's almost like you had to have been there to be able to paint the picture that clearly through your words. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You didn't hear that secondhand, like you was there when the robbery took place or when such and such got shot, or that's how I felt listening to Beanie Siegel. So to me, he's just believable. I don't know anything that he's actually done in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
I was
Like,
gonna ask, does
I
he
don't know
actually
anything.
have Fred?
I'm
Or
So
sure
you said
like,
this was a middle school joke? Like this started in
this
middle
is like
school?
a joke. Yeah, this was like a joke me and my friends would say
So
to each
that's
other.
when he was on Rockefeller, right?
That was when that was when Rockefeller was like becoming one of them crews where it was like, oh, okay, like Bleak, he was, because he had Is That Your Chick, and that shit was a banger. You know what I'm saying? So it looked like Bleak was on his way. Then Beanie came out and he was just hard as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, then they signed the mill. That was back in those days where it was like a group of niggas and one chick. Some heard in Katashkanti. You know what I'm saying? G Unit had Olivia. Rockefeller had a mill. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like to us, Beanie Siegel was just like the epitome of, like, when Ice Cube says gangster rap, he calls it reality rap. Like, we was like, that's Beanie Siegel. Like, we
See,
just felt it.
I agree with you 100%, but it was after State Property, the movie came out. When I saw State Property, and first of all, it was one of those rappers where he was on my radar. Clearly, I was you knew of Benny Siegel, but I wasn't no fan of Benny Siegel until State Property, and I was like, yo, you can't make no movie like this because he's not acting.
I'll put it like this. Yeah.
That's not an acting. You're not, when you ask a nigga what hand you roll up with, and you
Right. Nobody
real,
wrote that line for you, dog. Like,
yeah,
that's some shit you said to a nigga
and
before.
it was too many improv that wasn't like, oh, this is just these niggas got a camera and took it to the hood. Not that like, oh no, bro, I got a vision. I want to make this movie. Just dream with nah, bro. And it was also during the time of the World Star days. So, and people forget about what really World Star was. World Star was actually giving you a glimpse into a world that was authentic, that cameras had never been before. Like, to get on World Star, you had to be authentic. You know, when people were checking World Star daily for content. Excuse me. You know, and there was no such thing as a reality star. If you was a hood star, you was a really that dude in the hood. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna make this up. to be that. No, it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you where the trap house is. I'm gonna show you where this is. I mean, it was.
So let me just, because you're right in the sense of all of that. Like as far as the content, the one thing that I would argue is I think World Star was a little bit later than that. Whereas this was like the DVD era. This was like Smack
Oh yeah,
DVDs.
I give you the yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sub-Zero DVD, Smack DVD.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was that. This was
all
more
of that
kind of,
all of that birth World Star though too. Because that
Correct,
content from those DVDs, and so when I say the World Star content, it wasn't necessarily posted on the site. It Smack DVD, Sub-Zero, what was that? Was it J Tower Films? Or
Jordan Tower.
Jordan Tower film.
Yeah.
Like these were dudes who went around the country to get content who didn't have no passes, no credibility, no nothing. They was just in niggas spots.
Catching niggas. Oh
right.
Shit, Jim Jones is in Harlem. Break out the camera on this
Yeah,
nigga.
break out and we gonna put that
with
shit
his homies.
And who is this? And they were just filming like that's when we 50 niggas with the guns and all of it. You know, like
that was when that started. That was that era. That's when that started. You know what I mean? Beanie Siegel was like slightly before that. I feel like.
How did you get it without World Star though? Like obviously once World Star, you could go on the website, but you guys were saying like there was DVDs.
Yeah, so barbershop, so you could order. So that's in like the Napster, the burning DVD stage. So if you put it out on DVD, niggas was burning that shit. Niggas had a tower, and that's how battle raps came about. Like you know,
really, they made all of their money in wherever they were from. Like Smack made all of his money in New York because he was producing the DVDs and they were selling them in bodegas. You know what I'm saying? Or on like just street corners and stuff, like the CD man who's next to the clothes man, who's next to the purse lady. You know what I mean? Like how it is in New York. So it's like there'd be like a DVD guy, you know what I mean? Or you could go to the bodega. Like I bought a mixtape at a bodega before. You know what I'm saying? Like a legit mixtape with a nigga who just does freestyles over the beat type shit. Like I bought one at a bodega. Like, so that's how that shit used to be before, like that Piff and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's how that shit would get around. And then somebody from New York would eventually, go to California, go to Detroit, go to St. Louis, go to Chicago, and then do what Marcus is talking about, burn and gain copies. And then that's how it circulates in the different cities. So it was a slow burn, but like Smack wasn't getting all the Smack DVD money once it left New York.
It might have been one nigga in your hood who was ordering that shit.
Right.
Because I ain't even gonna lie, I used to order DJ Small mixtapes.
You could order them out of the back of magazines, like
I was the only nigga in St. Louis who had DJ Small mixtapes, and I was the one that I would burn the shit out of them motherfuckers. You gotta think, shit. You buy it for 20. You literally buy the CD for 20, and then you had a 5-deck burner, and you were selling them for 10.
Yeah, you just buy a pack of like 20 blank CDs. They come with the jewel cases and everything. You just write whatever
Sharpie.
CD. Yep.
Mix one. Squad up this. Squad up that. Yeah, that was a beautiful era, bro.
Yeah, it really
because you could hustle anything like you just needed the technology.
Wow.
So yeah, Siegel's my guy. The bars that I go to, like I don't know, like, and it's again, he just like bear witness to the greatest, can't beat us, join us, keep heaters on us with red lasers. Now fair warning, sure shots won't graze you. We hug corners, play blocks like gators, with bundles on us, serve trays like waiters. It's the life we chose to hustle. Can't stop it, can't knock it. Half the profit get flown out Vegas. Me and my niggas trying to break tables, stack chips like Connect 4. While you pricks try and whip, try and stretch more, charge less for. That ain't the program. Get your lessons from the snowman. Like Pillsbury, I get the dough, man. I'll off your head for a slice of bread. I keep my word and I'm true to my peeps. Give a bird and my crew gon' eat. I'm over the stove like Cuban links, breaking down cash money like baby do. You niggas soft like baby food. Around the world, niggas pay me, dude. Like, he's just, I don't know. Like, it's different. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. Like, it's a different vibe when Siegel raps. Like, I believe this nigga.
Is Siegel then what Jadakiss is now?
No, I would put Kiss on the same kind of playing field. It's just
Really?
yeah, because they battled. Like this was
I,
that era when they were battling
I
each other.
think
Like
I agree with you. I just feel like
I would put them on an even ground, but
I wouldn't put them even. I would
I
put Kiss
think
above Siegel, but that's
not in believability to me. Maybe in skill, but I believe Beanie more. Like when he's rapping, I'm like, yep, I buy every word. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like Kiss, some of that shit, I'm like, all right, you're taking creative liberties here, but you know that's cool.
creative liberties. What? What? Wow.
It's been a nice
See,
his
that
captain.
is a politically correct way. You're taking
I mean, niggas is
creative
artists,
liberties.
niggas is artists though. You know, you're supposed to do that. Shout out
Wow.
to all the rappers who do that.
Who take creative liberties.
Yeah, it's a lot of you niggas.
Oh yeah.
A lot of you hoes too. Shit.
Jeez. Somebody's been hurt.
Yeah, Siegel, not one of them, in my opinion. Just
Okay.
based off the vibe I get. Again, I don't know that to be true. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Matter of fact, I know that's not true. He got knocked out by Meek Mill's crew, like
Shut up, are you
backstage at a concert. Yeah, it happened a few years back.
Oh no. So we can spit that shit, but they kind of caught him lacking.
Now, granted, let me be fair. Let me be completely fair. This nigga had like kidney failure and shit, and like this is like before that, but he's had issues like with his health. He's had surgeries and different things like that. He's not 27-year-old Beanie Siegel no more, like who's actually the Broad Street bully and all that type shit. Like he's an old man now. If he's not 50, he's pushing 50. So it's like, you know,
Now I gotta go look up. Now I gotta go look for a current picture of Benny Siegel.
yeah, I mean, he looks the same. He's just a lot smaller, and he look like your uncle now. He don't look like your big cousin no more.
Time does not stop for anybody. So yeah.
Exactly. Shout out to Beans.
Shout out. All right, nice pick, Shane. Marcus, do you want to go next, or do you want to look that up real quick? So
no, yeah, I can go. So
go ahead.
Then I chose to go a different route. I actually wanted to go talk about who was believable, not necessarily through lyrics, but actually not recently, but through sentencing, because, a lot of rappers' lyrics have been turned against them, or, they're on once they get a bit of fame, they're, looked at, targeted upon, surveillance, and we're gonna keep it with the NY. I'm gonna go with Bobby Shmurda, from the song. Everybody remember Hot Nigga, everybody remember the Money Dance. Like, I mean, for Bobby Shmurda to do the time that he did, when I heard either one of those songs, I believed him, but I didn't really be like, he believed, like we just talked about with Benny, like you believed it and you felt that. But on December 17th, he was arrested. Shmurda was charged with conspiracy, reckless endangerment, drug and gun possessions, and charges against the others in his crew were attempted murder, assault, drug dealing, and he had a $2 million bail. 2014. That's how, for him to, and then he didn't snitch. That was another thing. So he took a 7-year plea deal in his gang case, but he had already spent a year and a half in jail awaiting trial. So, he's one of those layers, like he was really living what he was rapping about. And his believability goes kind of unparalleled because I don't want to say it was out the blue, but I knew national Bobby Shmurda. I wasn't from New York. I'm not from New York. Like, I wasn't like, oh yeah, I saw him coming up. I knew he was I knew he was like this. They was a wild crew. No, he was another up and coming rapper who, got indicted at his peak. Literally his peak.
Yeah.
His apex of his career. Then he had to go home and sit down. We've seen the same thing from older rappers. BG just came home. C Murder still now. So we've seen, but Bobby Shmurda was at his peak when he got a case.
Yeah.
and his believability by Department of Justice records goes up to a 10.
Let me tell you why I believed Bobby pretty much the first time I heard the song and the first time I saw the video.
Okay.
Number one is because the lyrics that he was spitting were way too, again, the specificity of the lyrics, especially in Bobby's case. He's saying names and saying specific crimes and associating them with the names of the niggas in his crew all throughout the song. You know what I'm saying? Mitch caught a body about a week ago, obviously being the most famous one, but he's doing that basically throughout the whole song. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's dropping niggas' names throughout the whole song. Now, he's getting away with it, and niggas don't call him a snitch because it's on some rap shit. And they in the video with him, like, yep, nigga, I do that shit. I robbed a nigga last week, you know, or whatever. Like, but because of how specific he was, I was like, okay, nah, that's red flag, like, number one, you know what I'm saying? And then number two, ironically, the flag, the color of his flag. He came out and he was claiming a Crip gang in New York at a time where the only trendy, quote unquote, gang was the Bloods at the time. Like, everybody was a Blood. Everybody was fake repping, all this type shit. Soulja Boy, Chris Brown, 21 Savage, all these niggas was Bloods just all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
May
like,
was a Blood.
Yeah, Young and May came out as Blood. Like, you know, Kodak Black, he was like, I'm not a Blood, but that's who I was rocking with in prison and all of this stuff. Like, everybody wanted to have something to do with the Bloods. It was trendy. You know what I mean? And so when he came out and I saw niggas in his video throwing up Crip hand signs, I was like, okay, again, like, that's not the trend right now. You're making yourself almost like not a target necessarily, but you know what I mean? You're going against the grain by doing that at this time. Like, now, right now, I would almost argue the roles are reversed. There's way more, you know, Crip artists that are coming out. But at the time, the trendy, so to speak, gang to be a part of was the Bloods. And, you know, he came out on some Crip shit. So I was like, okay, nah, this nigga might really be doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously the indictment came and all the YouTube documentaries and all of that kind of stuff. And we found out what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So believability in actually doing it, you know, was do you think it was, I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think it was more of being true to the culture, authenticity in the game, you know, me rapping about the life that I really live?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think it was more stupidity, young and dumb, and I got caught up? Or both?
I say both.
Both, 100%.
Yeah, and I really wish that somebody, especially the people who were like involved in it, I wish that they probably had like been the people in the room and be like, maybe we should edit some of this shit out, nigga. Like, because it doesn't take much to just take some names out. Like, you could have
flip the names.
Let's do something. Yeah, seriously, it really doesn't take much. And it's crazy because I think a lot of people didn't think that, I think that they forgot. Like, they forgot that the cops were watching or something. I think that they thought maybe you could get away with a lot of shit like that, but they're always listening. They're always watching, you know, and that was one of the first cases, I think, that made some of the younger kids, like, I don't know what, I would say like Bobby Shmurda is like a millennial. I think that it made them kind of realize that might not be the best idea. Like, I can rap about this shit, but I can't literally put everything into the lyrics. Same thing like with I remember that young rapper Lil TK, or is that what his name was? Lil TK? Yeah, he also rapped about a murder and then basically ran from the police and stuff like that. And
no, that was the thing. He committed a murder, and then they put him on house arrest, and he cut his ankle monitor off in the music video and made the song called The Race, and because he went on the run.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even rapping until after he committed this murder, and he just made a song. And he just made a song about being on the run from the police, and it went viral. That's
Yeah,
what
I
happened.
thought it
Like,
was already. Oh, okay. I thought he got arrested because it went viral, and I was like, "You're dumb."
Wow.
well,
Okay, that's
he
why.
probably did get arrested because it went viral, but they was looking for this nigga anyway. Like,
Yeah, I do
but
remember.
that probably helped because now you're famous, nigga, and everyone knows what you look like. So
Yeah,
everyone's like, oh yeah, we saw this nigga. He was at Walmart doing whatever.
yeah,
Hey, there's,
exactly.
I will say this about law enforcement. I've seen niggas beat Fed cases. I've seen niggas dupe on the cops, beat state cases, detectives and this, that, and the third. You know who I've never seen get defeated? The fucking U.S. Marshals.
Mm.
Like nigga, when they look like I've seen people, I've seen DEA agents, drop cases, become this, that, and the third. Shit, even ATF, it takes a while for them to build a case against you to, without getting the alphabet boys involved. But when the fucking U.S. Marshals start looking for you and shit, it's over for you. Like you're not running from the Marshals. You can run from everybody else. You can duck the feds. You cannot duck the U.S. Marshals.
Damn, that
And
be.
like I heard a quote the other day because of the Keefe D shit. You know what I'm saying? The dude who was in the car with Tupac's murderers who just got arrested. So the situation with him is sort of similar. You know what I mean? Like because he didn't necessarily like pull the trigger himself or anything like that, but because he was in the car and he keeps talking about it like in interviews and stuff like that, they were able to just piece it all together and go get this nigga. You know what I'm saying?
And didn't
So
he try to profit off of it?
yeah, he wrote a book and he's been doing interviews. He did a Vlad interview. Like that was the main thing, one of the main things that got him caught up. Because he was just detailing the murder and shit, basically. Like
Over and over again. That's the thing.
Repeatedly.
Is the fact that you kind of got away with it a few times, but it was probably all of the buildup of them being like, damn, how many interviews, how many books? Like now we actually got to look into it and take him serious. And then the craziest part for me is that I honestly thought because he was doing these interviews, because I hadn't seen it, I just saw like him getting arrested and stuff. I thought that he was the shooter. I thought that he was claiming that he was, but everyone's saying that he's just claiming that he was in the car and it was his nephew.
His uncle.
No, so it was so Orlando Anderson is the guy that the dudes beat up on tape, right? Okay. So y'all remember the video from the Vegas hotel where Pac walked up on the dude all fast, walks up, socks him out, and then everybody just starts rushing him and jumping him, kicking him and shit, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that because that's the video that got Suge Knight sent to prison. So everybody knows about this video. So everyone naturally assumed that he would be the shooter, obviously, because he's the guy that got jumped. He was in the car. You know what I'm saying? Now, the guy who just recently got arrested is his uncle. The shooter is dead. Oh. His Orlando Anderson is also dead. Everybody in the car, except for Keefe D, is no longer here because there was all gang members and shit. So they all died like unrelated shootings and, shit like that. Compton shit going on. So he got caught up on a PCP case later. And so what ended up happening was they gave him a proffer agreement because they sort of set him up. It wasn't necessarily entrapment, like he was selling PCP, but they used that to basically offer him this proffer agreement so that they could close the Tupac case in Vegas. And at the time, they said, whatever you tell us right now, we cannot use against you. Anything you say after right now, we can use against you.
So it's kind of like that Law and Order Queen for a Day shit.
That's exactly what it was. So that day, you can admit to any crimes you participated in. Did you kill Tupac? No. Oh, who did? It was my nephew. Okay, cool. Are you telling us the truth? Yes, I'm telling you the truth. Okay, if we ever at any point in the future find out that this is not the truth, we can also come back for you. Yes, okay, cool. This is not the truth. Or this is the truth. It was my nephew. Okay, cool. So they basically closed the case at that point. They're like, all right, this is who did it. You know what I mean? We offered him but all them interviews he did were after that day. So
And
that's
they wasn't
why
shit
he
that
No.
he included in his original statement.
yes. And witnesses that were there starting to come forward. They were like, it wasn't a small arm that shot out. It was a fat arm. And Orlando Anderson was a small guy. So they're like, he couldn't have been the shooter. But it wasn't Keefe D either because he was on the opposite side of the car. So that, you know, they're saying it was one of the other two guys that passed away. You know, I'm not going to say whose name or whatever, you know, but they're saying it was one of the other guys. So they're pretty, like, everybody basically knows at this point what happened now. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Wow.
basically all wrapped up. But people are scared for Diddy because this dude Keefe D said basically that Diddy paid him $1 million to do it.
Well,
So
okay, now
that's a
Lord.
sketchy
Then he gonna pay
situation.
$2 million to get this covered up.
So I don't know if Diddy paid. Okay, I don't know if Diddy paid for him to get killed. Diddy had a bounty on Death Row Chains. And I think the bounty was on, if you got Pac's chain or Suge's chain or whatever, it was on their chain. Not necessarily how you got it was like
Up to you.
You know, up to you, nigga. But if you get me the Death Row Chains, oh nigga, you give me Suge Knights or Tupac chain, that's $1 million. I didn't tell you to kill these niggas, but at the same time, it was fucking 96.
And let me just say this, according also to Keefe D, these are all his words. He said this, I think in the proffer agreement that he was offered that day. He said Diddy called him after the shooting happened and it hit the news.
Shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said Diddy called him and asked him, was that us? Right after it happened, like, and it hit the news and shit, and they were like, Tupac got, because he wasn't dead yet. You got to remember, Tupac didn't die for like 7 days, so it's not like he died on the scene. You know what I mean? He made it to the hospital and shit.
I swear to you, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't believe in like made up evidence, but I swear to you, if they pull up any type of phone records that show that Diddy was on the phone with him from 1990, what was this? When did Pac die? When did he get shot?
96.
96. From 1996.
He died on September 13th, 1996.
If they pull that up from 1996 and show me that Diddy used this fucking Nextel chirp of a phone to call this number on a landline, and I can't get with that.
Same. I don't know if I could believe it, just because I would be surprised if they didn't already look into him back then as well.
Who says they didn't?
Right. So like I would think that back then they would have already looked at the records. I would think. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe
I think back then it was a lot harder to prove cases. Like we have so much more technology nowadays to where everything's recorded. We know that now. Like anything you say, anything you write electronically, that shit is recorded. We know this now though. So it's like people try to move around that, but people get caught up, obviously. But whereas back then it was kind of more of a free for all. Like the feds had to like tap your phone and shit like that. Like if you was like a big time drug dealer and stuff like that, that's why they would be scared to talk on the phone and nobody else would. Like if you just did some bullshit around the corner, you could say whatever on the phone, like, because the feds weren't tapping your shit. It's not like they had the recording. So it would be very interesting because that means Keefe D would have been tapped already if they have a phone call of Diddy calling him, and they would have record of that. So
I'll put it like this. As a fan, as a fan, not as producer, not as a straight up fan.
Yeah.
Do you believe Diddy? I want to say these words correct. Do you believe Diddy orchestrated the murder of Tupac?
No. This is what I think.
Okay.
I think that Keefe D was somehow in the music industry. I'm not exactly sure in what way. LA gang members have a tendency to be able to finesse their way into the music industry. It's been going on since forever.
Years.
You know what I'm saying? So this isn't a new thing. I feel like he was somehow affiliated with the music industry, and the check-in thing has always been a thing. It's just been blown up to mean something negative now. But niggas always checked in when they went to different states and stuff like that. And they had, especially in those days, because you didn't have the internet to look up, where's the safe zip code at? Where's the most crime happening at? What gang is in this neighborhood? They have whole gang maps now. Like, you can really move around safely because of the internet, really. If you want to avoid bullshit, very easy to, like, no matter where you go. So, all this information is available. That shit didn't exist back then in the 97. You know what I'm saying? So you had to know some people who could move you around, safely. So
Yeah.
I think that's where Keefe D and Bad Boy and Diddy's connection comes in, because there are pictures of Biggie hanging out with Southside Crips, which is where Keefe D's from. So there's for sure a connection there. Like that, there's not even any denying that. But do I think Diddy told him to murder Tupac? No. I think Orlando Anderson took the chain, or not even he took the chain. Somebody from his hood took the chain, and they saw him and they were like, yo, that's one of them dudes who took our chain. Let's get him. Like, it was purely some gangbang shit that Tupac just shouldn't have had anything to do with. That's what I think happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of think the Diddy factor is really more of a coincidence than anything. Like, I don't think he had anything to do with the death per se. I mean, indirectly because of the whole, bounty on the chains thing. But
do you think they look at Diddy now?
It depends on what Keefe D says. If Keefe D gets to saying stuff, then why not?
He be talking a lot, so I don't.
He talks a lot, right? And he already told on his nephew. I mean, granted, yes, he's dead, but depending on where you're at, that doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't know the California politics on that, but in certain areas, you're not even allowed to tell him the dead. So
yeah,
I don't think he speaks on Diddy, just for the simple fact Diddy can touch him still. Like, if you think, let's just say this, let's just say it's true. Let's assume he is telling the truth. So if I had $1 million in 96 to get to orchestrate this and to pull the trigger and to ask you this in 96, I'm worth $1 billion now.
Yep.
Yeah. What you think I'm gonna do now?
Right.
Like, what? I mean,
yeah. We'll see.
What your family's like? 2 of your family's already gone from this. Like, can your favorite auntie be next? I don't know. I don't like what, like, if I had $1 million then and I have $1 billion now, like, I'm smart enough to be so far removed from the situation. Like, nigga, I might be with Jeff Bezos on a NASA going up to the outer layers of space.
Talking about love.
When you promoting the album, when your family get murked. And you too in the van, like, like, I would be literally, I was out of this. Where were you? I was out of this world. like, like I was not on planet Earth.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the.
Do I think it's possible that Diddy has something to do with it? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Does my instinct tell me, yeah, Diddy had them niggas killed? Nah. I don't think that. I think the shit that got Tupac killed and Suge shot in the head was some gangbang shit in Las Vegas gone wrong. It was some Compton shit that spilled over into Vegas because everybody was in town for the Tyson fight. That's it. That's what I think happened. I think that shit would have happened in Compton, but maybe Tupac wouldn't have been there. But it would have been other niggas, because there were so many other people that got shot in that time frame. Just none of them was rappers, but it was people on both sides, like the South Side Crips, and then niggas that were affiliated with Death Row. It was all type of shit going on back then. So, but just, when it's not famous people, it's not going to get reported.
Right.
But there's,
I like how this show took this turn, because this was like a great unexpected topic to like stumble upon, because even I learned some shit.
Oh yeah, seriously. I was thinking like, damn, Shane's gonna run it down. And
I was a
honestly,
real avid Tupac fan growing up, so I know all the shit. I even know all the conspiracy theory shit.
out of all of the theories that I've ever heard, I feel like that is like the most believable, to be honest. So, I feel like you heard it here first.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. When I was younger, uh, and like I was into the. I mean, it was East Coast, West Coast, but we didn't know what the fuck that really meant then.
Right.
You just picked a side of if red was your favorite color in kindergarten, nigga, you was a blood, and if blue was your favorite color, you was a crip. Like you didn't really know what the fuck you was saying. But when he died, I was such a kid, and you don't these urban tales. Oh, it's the Don Illuminati 7-day theory. And Tupac's gonna come back in 7 years because 7 years, if you fake your death, you can come back and you're not in trouble anymore. And I swear I was like just waiting on year 7. I was like,
me too.
Machiavelli,
Me too.
He's not dead, bro. He's coming back on year 7. Yeah. Like I just knew it, this is a horrible analogy, but it was like Jesus coming back. Like I just knew he was
real shit.
back.
Real shit. And let me tell you why. This is, I'll just say, the most believable parts of the theory. The part that made me go, the part that made me raise an eyebrow, I'll say. Right. You just let me know. When I give you the info, right?
Okay.
All right. So he gets shot on September 7th, right? So there's a number 7. That's the thing that's gonna keep popping up is the number 7. So he gets shot on September 7th. He dies 7 days later on the 13th. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 7 days from the day he gets shot till the day he dies. And he dies on Friday the 13th, which is also just in itself suspicious, but
creepy.
You know what I'm saying? It was creepy, right? So he dies 7 days later. He gets shot on the 7th, right? He dies at 4:03 a.m. 4 plus 0 plus 3 is 7. Right. Mm-hmm. His last album is called Machiavelli, the 7-Day Theory, the Don Illuminati.
Wow.
Right. And it's a picture of him on the cross like Jesus, who came back 7 days later after he was buried. So when you tie all of that together, that's what it was like. All right. Okay. Maybe there's something there. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. Like, yeah. I'm not even gonna hold you. I get now where the conspiracy kind of comes from.
Yeah, I get it.
Numerology or something, you're like, okay, hold the fuck up. Like that is
right.
A lot of coincidences for sure.
A little much.
I'll say this. It was the hip hop version of Y2K. Like, that's the best one. Like, people thought, like, when I say everybody thought Tupac was coming back 7 years later,
or even
there's a significant portion of people, yo. Like
the significant portion of people also thought when the year 2000 came, that the world was going to end. Like, the clocks couldn't take it. They can't even count past 2000.
This was so on that one. I remember that shit too. And it's even funny you bring that up because at work we're doing a 90s week for customer service week. And we're gonna throw a Y2K party. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So that's funny. Diversity. Right. I'm on the committee, you know what I mean, to make sure shit's fun. So, I'm gonna have the playlist going.
Go in that bitch like
it's gonna be fire.
You already bought, just put the bandana on.
Right. Shout out to Aaliyah, you know what I'm saying, on the shirt. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun week. But we're doing a Y2K party, so it is funny you say that. But the reason they thought that everything was gonna fuck up is because they thought that computers couldn't go past the year 1999, and they thought that everything that was hooked up through computers, like the airplanes and banking and all of that shit, was gonna reset to the year 1900 and fuck everything up. That's what they thought. Like, some motherfuckers thought planes were just gonna start falling out the sky and shit like that because like they weren't gonna be able to communicate and use their systems properly and shit like that. Which is hilarious.
And to think that was fucking 23 years ago.
Insane, right?
That's nuts.
That shit is crazy.
It really is.
It's scary. I was fucking 8.
Allie, who Who do you believe?
Oh, yeah, because we went off the rails, man. All right, so
Hey, I think we should do like a part 2. I ain't
I
gonna
think we
lie.
have
Like
to. We totally have to.
we
But I
just gonna
think
keep it as
we
part
finished
2 because
part
the Tupac shit
It took
was
over.
it took over, but it's it was believable.
Just giving niggas history lessons. You
Yes,
know what I'm
so
saying? Oh
It was
my.
really believable. I agree.
That's your new name. Hey, that's your new name on the show. When you fill in Shane, the hip hop historian.
Yeah.
I really am. That's the funny thing. Like,
AKA the wizard.
I know some shit. I
All
know
right.
some hip hop shit.
That's true. But all right, so for my pick, I picked DaBaby because I think he's incredibly believable. When it comes to some of his lyrics about shooting niggas,
I mean, there's surveillance tape at a Walmart.
Exactly. So that's the thing is like I kind of went with how you went, Marcus, how you were saying that like these are people who actually caught cases. So DaBaby did catch a case. He was involved in a shooting at a Walmart. He claims that basically this guy walked up on him. He had problems with this guy. DaBaby was in there with his baby mama and like 2 of his kids. They were super young, and he said that the guy was like threatening him and supposedly was trying to rob him somehow, some way. They're saying that the gun went off. Baby kept saying that he didn't shoot it, that he didn't actually shoot the guy, that it just went off somehow. But then when you look at the video, it does look kind of crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for the longest time when I heard about this, I was like, wow, this guy must have really been defending himself. But if you see the video, it looks kind of crazy. I don't know. But in the end, they said it was self-defense. He ended up, he did get sentenced. But it was actually like a state sentence. So it sounded bad at first, but it really wasn't that bad. So he was sentenced to 1 year of unsupervised probation and 30 days in jail. But I'm pretty sure that got suspended. The stay in jail somehow got suspended. I think he got even less than 30 days in jail. So honestly, he kind of got away scot-free for a situation where someone lost their life. And it became such a big deal that like I think it also kind of helped his like career in the whole believability department when it came to whether or not he was a rapper who was really about that shit. And I think that people kind of understood he was. Even Dave Chappelle has talked about him in his stand-up and everything. He couldn't believe that this guy got away with it. But yeah, and like if you know Baby, if you see him online, you kind of get this feeling of like he has his larger than life. He feels like he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And I think that this is one of the cases that definitely made him feel that way and made people believe him. What do you guys think?
So there's a lawyer ad here in St. Louis that used to come on, and her lawyer ad used to be like, it's not whether her lawyer, it was literally on the radio on the hip hop, and it would be like, it's not what they said you did, it's whether they can prove what they said you did. Call me. I'm some for whatever the number was, but that was her tagline on the radio.
Wow.
You know, and you just heard that, you know, all the time. So when you saw the Baby video, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Can you prove what they said you did? Can you prove that it wasn't self-defense? Can you prove that the words exchange? Because there's no audio at a Walmart. So if he's saying, "Hey, what's up, nigga?" and you saying, "Oh no, he didn't say what's up. He said, give me all my money." How do I know it's not a robbery? How do I know watching what he didn't say that? I don't.
Yeah.
So you know, that's every time when I watch that Baby video at the Walmart, I don't know what was said. We know dead man tell no tales.
Right.
So,
yeah.
you know,
He even said it in his lyrics, like DaBaby mentioned it later in his lyrics. I think he actually mentioned it in a music video, but I cannot for the life of me remember what music video it was. But he did mention it in the song Masterpiece. But like Marcus said, you can basically say like, you guys don't know what happened and I don't know what happened. And he said in his lyrics, he says, I don't know what went down at that Walmart. I don't know what happened on that freeway. I think he was talking about another situation where like him and his people were out. He kicked some dude out on the freeway, something crazy like that. He said like the guy said he got his ass whooped by Baby and his crew and then was like left on the side of the road for some crazy reason. And And in the end, I think Baby got away with that as well. So yeah, you're right. You can say there's deniability there for him. So you can say like I don't remember or you don't know what the fuck happened, and yeah, it's been proven to be effective for him in his defense for sure.
And he did all this, and one comment at Rolling Loud derailed his entire fucking career.
He was feeling himself too much. Like I honestly, when I was hearing about all these incidents where he was like beating up people and like getting away with it and just being just extra as fuck, I knew that it was part of his personality, part of like the character of being a rapper, being the baby. For I mean, he wanted to go for a shock value, you know. But I always feel like there's that line when you're watching it from home where you're like, he's gonna go a little bit too fucking far, and they always kind of do, you know, when they're that high up. And he did. He went too fucking far. And I think the craziest thing about it is that he didn't do enough PR to try and save that. Like at the beginning, anyway. Towards the end, he came back, was apologetic. But at the beginning, he was still arrogant, didn't give a fuck, and it really hurt him. So yeah, it's crazy how a comment can bring you down, but actually, like real life happenings, you know, people dying. You know, if you don't have the audio, deniability.
Yeah, and so with the baby also, I think a lot of it is it's almost sort of the 50 Cent effect, where because we know the story about him killing the dude at Walmart. Because at first, when the first footage came out, like when he was a new artist, it did look like self-defense. It was later that more footage came out and it looked crazy, and it was like, oh, maybe this isn't the way we heard it. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But at that point, it was too late already. They had already tried him and found him not guilty. You know what I'm saying? So doesn't matter what comes out at that point. That's double jeopardy. Can't charge him again. So he was good. But the other thing that's part of that aura, I guess, is, you know, there was the video of him, you know, in the Charlotte Hornets jersey when he was shooting that video, and all them dudes came up asking him if he asked for a hood pass to shoot the video there. And he was by himself, basically, not backing down, basically like, nah, I ain't asked for nobody permission to be here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to either. So it is what it is. Like, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? It didn't back down and ended up still, that video came out. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know, and then there's concert footage of him in the middle of rapping, giving somebody some hands real quick, and then going right back to rapping. Like that's happened at a few different concerts of his. So he has like a track record of basically doing everything that he says he will do. So it's sort of that 50 Cent effect where he comes in, and again, it's that believability factor. But yeah, it's accompanied with evidence, though. It's not purely just off of his vibe. But
Right.
another thing that I'll say, though, and I want y'all's opinion on this, is I feel like hood niggas, like real thoroughbred street hood niggas, tend to be a little goofier on the rap side sometimes. They're a little bit more gimmicky because, like, they're really trying to get out the hood. So, like, the baby, for example, at one of the first concerts was wearing a diaper and shit like that.
Yeah.
At a concert, not in a music video. You know what I mean? At an actual concert, he's walking around backstage in a big ass diaper. And then you got dudes like Redman, who, you know, if you remember the old MTV Cribs episode, he was still living in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And like his doorbell didn't even work type shit. And he was like just a thoroughbred hood nigga. But he was always a little on the sillier side too, and a little more cartoony and animated in his videos, you know. And then like I feel like there's a lot of that too. So that kind of made me feel like he was probably a real one because he was willing to wear a diaper backstage, like, and just be silly. What y'all think about that?
I didn't even think of that, honestly. When I first saw him wear a diaper online, I was just thinking, what another crazy fucking rapper, another gimmick out there. I honestly didn't expect him to be like that hood of a nigga. And then, you know, everything was coming out about him. And then that's when I kind of started listening, and I was like, oh, actually he is. You know, I wasn't expecting that from him at all. But I will say, like, I started to believe for sure. And I love that you made that correlation because I never made that. But you're so right. It a lot of times it's like you said, niggas. They're not talking about like
for real moving shit and being serious as fuck about it, like don't come around my block hunt. If they're not talking like that, they are kind of on the goofier side, you know. So that's so true.
Hey, do you remember who in North Carolina he was beefing with? That like
No.
it. Oh, I can't think of this dude's name for shit. But like he caught him at the Louis store. Or
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, did he like slap him or something?
Yeah, so that like
he beat him out his pants, didn't he?
That's when I believed the baby.
Fucking shit.
That's when I was like, you can fuck with a lot of niggas, don't fuck with the baby.
No.
Do not like that because and you know we're all black on this call. You know, you can if I say, hey nigga, if I'm looking at Shane, I'm like, hey nigga, you can be like, hey nigga, what's up? If I say, hey nigga, if I Allie, hey nigga, where your niggas? You know, but if I say, hey nigga, instantly, you know the difference between hey nigga and hey nigga. Like you feel it, you know.
Yeah.
On that video in the Louis store, the baby turned around and said, hey nigga. And right then and there, I was like, oh, it's over. Right then. As soon as he turned his head and said, "Hey," he didn't care. He didn't give a shit if he was at he could have been at the White House.
Yeah.
It was up.
On the Rose Garden.
It was up.
Didn't give. As soon as he turned his head and said, "Hey," it was over. There was no coming back from whatever, because that hey nigga was too authentic and from the belly button. Wait, anytime you say hey nigga from the gut like
the
that,
diaphragm, nigga.
nah, ain't no coming.
You gotta make an ugly ass face when you say it too. Like,
right. You gotta make that the back like that.
Half your lip gotta be curled up.
Yeah. You really disgusted.
Yeah, you be like, because
yeah, look at a nigga like he smell bad when you say it.
But the point is also too, shit, when you hear it, if you was in a mall anywhere and you hear, hey nigga, you instantly what the
like
fuck?
Oh shit,
like, gotta get the fuck out of the way. Honestly.
You expect to hear it is real soon after, like
yeah. Someone ran into a fucking
even if you with your partner or people, you like, hey, we gotta go.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, like it's
if you're responsible, that's how you react. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Some of us are still hooligans at heart. You know?
For that.
I mean, I don't think it's a hooligan at heart. I just think
I might not run. Not if we in the mall. Like
I'm not running.
I don't know, but that's me being stupid though, because I don't expect a nigga to just start dumping in the mall. But they will.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Like, but they will.
So
and I'm like, so really, it's dumb. I need to get the fuck out.
I mean, you can get out, but at the same, I'm not running. I'm just not. I'm not running.
We gotta go though.
Yeah, we just gotta go. Like we can do. Like I can be smart about the situation. Yeah. I'm not running. Like I don't know what that smart in the situation means, but in terms of speed and an exit and a point A to point B in my size, no, I'm not. Because guess like in that, both of y'all are knocked out of the way.
Or we left you.
I would say,
it's like, damn.
Ash, I'm telling you right.
Yeah. It's like, damn, I hope this nigga make it out.
Like halfway out of his mouth.
I hope this nigga make it out, because we out. Once we outside, we can stay and wait for this nigga and make sure he made it out.
Hey, this is so fucked up.
That ratchet shit.
And I'm gonna tell this story. This is not my story. This is, and if they see this, I'm intentionally leaving y'all names out of this story. But a situation happened where it was a national event, right? And they got separated. And the person that got left did not know that they had gotten left until the person they were with were on social media and marked themselves safe from the same event.
Oh no.
And they came together in the same week. They were at the place together. They were there together. the shit literally popped off and they got separated, but they had
Damn.
not, the other person had not been rescued and was still in the ordeal. And the person that they were with marked themselves safe. And they saw it in the fucking, on social media. And then, like, it was, yeah. And I'm not going to put their names out there, but that was a wild ass.
That's crazy.
event.
I'd be so mad because my dumb ass would still be looking for this bitch. Like, you know what? She's probably still in the bathroom. Let me go find her. She's on Facebook like, I'm fine, guys. What? That's crazy. That's wild. But yeah, shit pop off, man. Shit gets crazy. It does. But
That shit is, that's nuts. That's a wild story.
But that definitely was. But honestly, I think that we picked some really believable rappers out of the ones, because I don't think that we can do all of them right now. We got to do a part 2 for the other half. But out of our picks, I think that Marcus wins for me personally. I think the most believable is Bobby because he actually went to jail. I think second is DaBaby only because he hasn't actually really got caught up. What do you guys think?
And I'm going to actually put an honorable mention. I kind of thought about this during the show. And because he got famous from his believability, I got to shout out T Grizzly. First Day Out. Literally the song. First Day Out. I mean, what's more believable than me talking about why I was in? So,
I love those, honestly. They're always raw. Like JT did one too. I think who really started that trend though? There's somebody else. There's like a old school rapper I could have sworn who started that.
Did the First Day Out?
Yeah, I could have sworn. I
had to look that up for part 2. I don't know.
Yeah,
I will find out.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So maybe we gotta do part 2. Honorable mention to T Grizzly. But all right, fellas. Thank you for this episode. This was fun to talk about for sure. Thank you guys at home for watching. Everybody else as well for listening. If you're listening to the audio version, be sure to let us know how you feel about this one and who you want to see on part 2. We're definitely gonna have to finish this one up on another episode of Bar Exam. We'll see you guys every Monday for a new episode. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, guys. See you on the next one.